Hello, and thank you for taking a few minutes to look at PairRev. PairRev was designed and built in the Langley, BC office in September of 2009, and it's been in daily use and had frequent refinement since then. It's best described, I think, as a multifunction tool. It can be a valuable research assistant. It's an opportunity finder, similar to portfolio watchers you may have used or developed yourself. It is a tool for rapid trade execution of pairs, and it is also a help with portfolio management. So let's take a look at some of the main pages of the program and some of the key features. This is the main page that you would probably watch during the trading day. And you have a list of your pairs here. To place a trade, you would put either a B or an S in the buy sell column here, double click, and the trade is done just that quickly. You double click on the pair name. If you double click on the buy sell column, you'll get a pop-up that allows you to set limits and stops for the pair so that you can either enter or exit the most recent layer. And I'll cancel that. So it's a semi-automated trading. It will execute the limits and stops that you place for the one layer. It does not then replace that with another set of orders for a different layer. We have a live price to book advantage calculation here. So this shows the difference, percentage difference in the price to book between the two stocks in the pair. We have a pure differential on the PE. We have a position indicator, shows you whether you're long or short, or no position if it's blank. And then the typical displays of other price changes, the change, the P&L of the most recent layer, the distance to the pivot, the percentage of the 5-day ATR that's been achieved so far, and this is configurable to be either the 5 or the 65-day, and also to be the ATR or the just average daily range. And then we pick up some P&L information for your today's value from your REDI. This gives you a layer count of how many layers you have on in a pair and the value at which you put the last layer on. And then this shows you your bias in use, and it has this tan background. If you have manually entered a bias override, in other words the bias that you've determined, if you're just using the bias that's in spread history, it'll just have a white background. This shows you the factor in use, and if you have entered a custom pair and then put your own factor or overridden the factor for the pair, it will have a bright pink background to let you know that there's a custom value in use. And then your position will show here. Your position in each stock will show, stock 1 and stock 2, and they will be in a black font if you have a position in the pair, if you have a position in both stocks in the pair. And you've got a couple of areas that you can open up here. This shows your last add or last off, depending on which one you did most recently, and the distance to it. And that can be hidden. And then this will show you the levels at which you added your last 3 layers, this being the most recent, the one before that, and the one before that. And then any limit, go with, target, or stop levels that you have set will show up here, and they will also be reflected here when you pop up this box. Bring that up with a double click. And that can be configured to automatically pop up when you enter a pair trade as part of the trade process. Once the trade is completed, then it'll pop that up and allow you to set a stop. And that's a user configurable item. So how might you use this screen? I should also mention that the bias that you currently have set is reflected in the color here. There's a variety of colors in use. This is the bias color. Here in the last, these colors are colors reflecting whether pair stock 1, stock 2, or both stocks in the pair are involved in another pair in your list. So it'll have a light blue background if stock A is reflected in another pair. It'll have a tan background if stock B, or it'll have a purple background if both of them are in another pair. The change, the color is whether it's a positive or negative change, green or red. Pivot distance, similarly, the distance from the pivot, whether the price is below the pivot, red, above the pivot, green. And if it's within 10 cents of the pivot, it has this blue background. And you can sort. One of the sorts that we have built in is sorting by absolute value of pivot distance, so that we can find all those stocks or all those pairs that are close to their pivot at the time. Anytime you want to sort by the name of the pair, you click this green button up here. You can sort by your position and bring all those to the top of the list, so you just see your positions. Another interesting way of sorting is to sort either by the change for the day, as we have here, and then sort by the bias. So now we have all of the short pairs, short bias pairs that are up on the day. And then we can scroll down, all of the short bias pairs that are down on the day, and then the neutral pairs, and the long pairs that are up on the day and down on the day. So those things that would be entry opportunities would be at the opposite extremes of the list, at the top here and down at the bottom, if you're sorting by change. You could do the same thing by the percent ATR that's been achieved. Now our custom pair here doesn't have an ATR value, so it got sorted to the list, to the top of the list. But you can sort by the 5-day ATR and then again by the bias. And so we now can see which pairs by bias have achieved a percentage of the ATR in either direction. So it's a couple ways that you can quickly look for opportunity at key times of the day, say 10 o'clock in the morning when the market tends to turn. You can look for what's kind of stretched out. Now we built these few sorts for common things in and put buttons in for them, but you can sort this page by any column that you want that's on the pairs page. Everything here is a reflection from the pairs page. So right here, if you wanted to do a sort by column CR on the pairs page, let's take a look and see what that is. So column CR is the price to book differential, or advantage, price to book ratio advantage. So if we wanted to sort by column CR descending, we have that set. We type the column designation, the letter designation here in this cell. We choose ascending or descending in this column, and then we click the blue button and it sorts by that value here. So you have total flexibility of sorting, and you have it here on the main page. You also have a similar sort here on the pairs page. On the pairs page we have a drop-down list of common sorts that you might want to sort by in the list, but you can also type any column that you want, such as ER, ascending, click the sort button, and we've now sorted by column ER on the pairs page, which happens to be a custom formula that I've put in. Is it's the value of the 20-day or the 2600 to 3-minute bar value from spread history. It's a spread history lookup, and so it's the position in that grid, and then the pairs are sorted by their position within that grid. You can go to a chart and see if there's an opportunity there for you. Another handy feature of this spreadsheet is its integration of the AutoIT scripting language in order to connect the spreadsheet to both REDI and eSignal. So when you click on one of these 4 columns, G through J, when you click on a value, it sends the it sets up your REDI montages with some user configuration. It sends the stock A to one REDI montage, stock B to a different REDI montage, and the pair to your eSignal, so that all of your charts and your montages update with that one click. And to further automate that and make it more useful, we have a slideshow feature. So you can click on the name of a pair, and you can start the slideshow, and it will change pairs every so many seconds, which is set here in this column, or in this cell right here. So in this case, every 7 seconds, it's going to go down the list to the next pair, and they will update in your charts and your montages. So you can go through your list of pairs automatically. And when you want to stop the slide sheet, you just click over here in this column. That was kind of designed to assume that you want to make a trade. So you click over here, you type B or S, and you double click, and you've made the trade, and then you can restart the slideshow. And it restarts from the row that it's on and continues. And when 7 seconds go by, there we go, it changes. So that is a quick overview of the main page. Now we'll go to the pairs page and look a little further. Okay, here on the pairs page, there's just way too much for me to go into all the details of. I've showed you the sorting. There is some daily updating that takes place from spread history. It pulls in the data from spread history and copies it to the spreadsheet, and that's done with this rebuild pairs button. That also allows you to, if you've made any changes to your pair list, it updates everything. And then you can, if you've added any new pairs, you need to rebuild your DTE links. You can add, and in addition to all the sorting that you've seen, which you can do on the fly during the day, anytime, you can constantly resort this. You can also add and subtract pairs very easily. If you wanted to delete a pair, you would just click on the name of the pair and hit the delete key and blank it, and the next time you run rebuild pairs, which you can also do during the day, it will eliminate that pair from your list. Similarly, you can scroll to the bottom of your list, and you can type or paste special another list of pairs down here, and it will add those pairs to your list. Custom pairs can also be done with some user customization. When you have a pair that's not in spread history, it doesn't know what the symbols are, so you have to put the symbols here, symbol 1 and symbol 2. I can show you a custom pair that we have right there. There's the IWB IWM. So you would have to put the symbols in. You would have to put in your own bias, of course, and then further out to the right, you would need to put in a factor override, and you would have to give it the factor, put in the factor that you want, and that would give the program enough information to create both create the pair and set it up so that it will you can use it and place trades. Okay, let's scroll back up to the top. A couple of little things. When a pair appears here in italics, that means that the two stocks are in different sub-industries, so it's just a quick little visual reference for you. I've got the same kind of color coding here as far as whether the pair is the stock is involved in another pair or not. If the stock is blue background here, it is in another pair, and if it's tan background here, it's in another pair somewhere on the list. Your bias in use is color coded just like the pair name was on the main page, and then you show your overrides here. And there's a lot of different pop-outs here. We have audio alerts in the program, so you can set a high or low value that you want to be alerted to, and the program will, when that alert is triggered, program will say high alert or low alert, and then it'll say the name of the pair, and it'll put a capital X here to show you what's been triggered, and it'll replace the value that you've typed there with the X. So it's very easy to tell if you happen not to hear the name of the pair being pronounced. It's very easy to come back here and see what alerts have been triggered. And then we have the columns for the limit, go with, target, and stop, which will generate trading orders. The stop value can also be trailed. You have to have a stop here a starting value here, and then you can trail the stop by this amount, and you can delay the trailing by requiring a certain size move from the your initial entry before in a profitable direction before the stop starts trailing. And we've got some information that can be used for copying to the front to the main page in the buy sell column. If you want to go through your list and make 1 or 2 letter notes here, then they can be copied to the main page. There's also a custom sort feature. So right here, sort priority. So if you want to create a custom sorting list, say by industry group or something, you can bring your list of pairs in, give it a sort priority, and that will be preserved in this column, and then you can sort the list by any of these other things during the day, and when you want to restore your custom list, you would just click this orange button and it will resort the list according to the priority here, whether it's alphabetical, numerical, whatever you've got set. And we have this version of the program now calculates or collects the data on the high and low live during the day by running a timer, so your percentage ATR is constantly updated, and the pivot, the distance to the pivot, and so forth is constantly updated as well. Then we also have an area here where we well, there's a large area of spread history data that you can use for research and comparing your pairs. We can track up to 10 layers, the entry levels, entry prices of those 10 layers, and then the layer count is shown here in this column. This column attempts to calculate the layer size based on your actual positions. And there's a lot of columns here that are calculating various different pieces of information, like your PE, so PE values and your PE difference, your bid-ask spreads on your pairs for checking for a wide spread that's beyond a limit. That's a user configurable item. And then your high and low is calculated from the incoming prices and on a time schedule. And then we have some overrides here that allow you to change your pairs to customize them. It automatically calculates the minimum shares per pair and based on the factor, but then you can override that. If you want to double the shares of a particular pair, you can do that here. If you wanted to double the shares of all your pairs, you can do that with a global multiplier here. You've got a merger constant, so you can trade a merger with this. So we looked at the layer management part of the spreadsheet. Now let's go to the order log and look at some other information that will help you with your portfolio management. This is not a full accounting program, but it does help you a lot with your accounting. And this order log, every order that you place, there's a detailed log of the trades that were made for that order, for the stock, and the price, the last price that the stock traded at when the order was sent. This is not going to your REDI and getting your fills. This is just taking snapshots at the second that the order is sent. Then it's storing the pair name, the layer number, and whether you were putting it on or taking it off, the pair price at the time, what triggered it, whether it was one of your limit stop go with, or whether it was a manual, the order mode. This will be live in all of your trading. That's a user configurable as well. And then you've got the memo and client data. This is a unique identifier for the trade that gets sent to REDI. And the memo is what is called in your CAS the trailer. So this will show up in your CAS, and this will tell you the program that sent it, the pair, and that it was layer 1 on or layer 2 off or whatever. And so when you are doing your accounting with your CAS, this will help you separate out your pair trades from your individual trades and match your trades, easily match your pair trades for your accounting. There's also an alert log, so that any alerts that are triggered for trade orders will be logged here, and the levels that were set at that time. Also, any suspected bad ticks will be logged here. The strict audio alerts are not logged here. And also, anytime one of your alerts, for example, a stop, wrong button, sorry, limit, stop, any of these are triggered, there is an audio speech notification as well. Now let's take a look at the new plan builder, which is the main research assistant part of the program. This has been around. If you've come to any of Rob's classes, you've probably seen this in some form before. It's been expanded for this version of the program. There's a lot of information about the pair from spread history. This program, of course, does draw very heavily on spread history. So there's a lot of the pair type of information here on the upper half of the screen, and then there is a fundamental comparison down here for just a quick comparison of bias. This is kind of to get you started. It's not exhaustive by any means, but it can tell you whether you want to look further into the pair or not. And then as part of that, there are a set of links, research links, that are built for you every time you update the pair in this cell A1, and these links are all live links to we'll open a browser and take you to different information about the pair, where you can go to more detail, like the detailed profile of the company that's at Reuters, or if you want to look at the 10K, 10Q, you've got the SEC filings here, detailed financials, fundamental charts at Morningstar, conference calls if you want to listen to the conference calls or read the transcripts, and so forth. If you want to use this as a screening tool, what you can do is paste a list of up to 100 stocks over here in this column, and then they become available on the drop down in this list, and you can quickly change to a different stock or pair on the list, and depending on whether or not that pair is currently in spread history, you'll get updated information, or you'll get errors. So some of the stocks in this, pairs in this list, may no longer be in spread history. In addition to using this page independently, anytime you click on the name of a pair in your list, this page is automatically updated with the information for that pair, whether you click on the name of the pair on the main page or on the pairs page. So the plan builder is well integrated with the other pages in the spreadsheet. And finally, the config page, which is where you do all the setup for the pair, and there is there's video help available for the various configuration options. There are links right here in the spreadsheet that will take you to videos on the website that will help you with the setup. And that's a little bit longer video than I intended to make, but there's just a lot to show here. So thank you very much for your time, and if you're interested in a trial, please let me know.